Bit of a comeback today. There's a story on Bloomberg that Netflix is in talks with Warner Brothers Discovery for its studios and streaming business. Now that is an interesting one. Looking at Netflix's share price in the pre-market, it's only down 0.7%, despite the markets assigning a $60 billion valuation to the studios and streaming business. That's an interesting one, isn't it?
It really is an interesting one. I was just bringing up the Netflix price. Yeah, we're down about 1% pre-market. As you say, it is going to be an interesting one. I mean, we know that Warner Brothers Discovery has sort of been up for sale for quite some time now, and Paramount were trying to get involved with it as well. I think there are going to be quite considerable competition and antitrust concerns around that deal because, it is getting to the point where are you looking at monopolies in the media space in the United States? But as we know, this is the Trump administration, so it's effectively going to be, who has curried the most favour with the Justice Department will get their own way.
I think it's an interesting one though, because I think it speaks to the saturation in streamers and the fact that there are so many different streaming options now available. Not only do you have Netflix, obviously you've got Amazon Prime. You've got Disney Plus, you've got Paramount Plus. Even YouTube now is starting to become a streaming destination of choice when it comes to content. And ultimately, there will need to be some sort of rationalisation because ultimately, there's absolutely no way that all of these streaming services are going to be generating a profit. And Netflix is by far and away the biggest. And it's absolutely amazing for me to say that. And I haven't even mentioned Apple TV. So there will need to be some sort of consolidation. And I do notice that there will be. Warner Brothers are already getting ahead of this when they say they're going to spin off the cable channels, including CNN, TBS, and TNT. So unlucky you guys if you're thinking you're going to get TNT Sports through Netflix. You ain't.
Yeah, well, that's a completely separate issue because TNT seem to be losing their rights catalogue more and more every day. We've spoken before about how saturated the streaming market is. Everyone's got 15 streaming services that they're paying a tenner a month for, or they've got them on rolling trials or whatever. And I do actually just wonder, obviously there are other aspects to the deal, but, is that the main draw for Netflix to effectively just be buying out and eliminating one of their main competitors?
Well, also, I think it'll allow them to enhance their own studios' content because they're making an awful lot more of their own content now. And obviously, if they're able to leverage the Warner Brothers studios on top of the stuff that they're already producing.
And sort of best of both worlds for them.
Indeed. And obviously taking over HBO as well. So home box office. So it's a big deal. And it is cutthroat. You've got Apple TV at the moment. They're discounting $4.99 for 6 weeks and then $9.99 thereafter. So even Apple, which isn't generally renowned for discounting its services, is going the discounting route when it comes to Apple TV to try and get their hooks into people to deliver that content. And their content, to be fair to Apple TV, is getting better, but it's not quite tempting me yet. But it's getting to that point where it might.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Tim Cook, if you're listening, you've got a customer on his way, potentially.
But the price...
He's a hard man to please.
Well, the price point is key. I think it's the price point.
And I think that's actually... Sorry, I was going to say, I think that's going to become common for all of the streaming companies. It is effectively now a battle over price, not necessarily as much a battle over content. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how that deal evolves because it is clearly not going to be an easy path from today announced to completion at some date in the future.
But certainly I think if Netflix does get Warner Brothers Discovery, it's going to get access to a whole host of new content. And that will obviously enhance its offering even further and make it pull further ahead of its peers who have much deeper pockets, Disney, Apple and Amazon. And yet they're still number one by a distance.
Yeah, so, and you'd expect them to be consolidating that position now.
You would think so.